Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to world this morning. Eid Mubarak to you and everyone out there. I am your host Hajra Satti and joining me is my wonderful co-host who happens to be Fahim Bangesh. Assalamu alaikum Fahim. Eid Mubarak to you and everyone out there.
Wa alaikum assalam and khair Mubarak Hajra. It's a very festive day. I'm very happy and enthusiastic. You know, whenever we have Eid days in Pakistan especially, I mean, I have lived abroad and what I consider the best about Pakistan is the enthusiasm with which people celebrate Eid. You know, especially now the trend has changed in the urban areas as well, because back when I was a child, most of the people used to go back to their villages, their native towns. But now, slowly and gradually, I see the trends changing. Islamabad is not as empty as it used to be, perhaps once as I remember it.
A decade ago or so, yes. I think that's wonderful, and for him, especially to our brethren, Muslim brethren who are celebrating out in the non-Muslim countries, because in Muslim countries, obviously it's a festival and everyone is very enthusiastic about celebrating it. But usually if you have the opportunity of living abroad, so you will find that it's just an ordinary day. Obviously people offer their Eid prayers and then they return back to their work. So special solidarity to our brethren who are out there celebrating in the non-Muslim countries. But having said so, thank you so much for highlighting that how many trends have changed, how many norms have changed, particularly in a decade or so. And we've seen that with the fast pace it has changed. That's something very wonderful. But for him, this Eid, particularly the Badi Eid as we call it, is usually a hectic sort of an Eid, especially for the men of the family, because they have to...
Hectic is an understatement, Hajra.
Okay. Because they usually have to engage in the Qurbani and all of that stuff, and then they have to engage in that, you know, house chores of where they have to distribute them Eid. So what is usually...
The biggest celebrity on Eid al-Azha is the butcher.
Yes.
You just cannot find a butcher on the right time. And then, of course, talking about a celebrity, I mean, we can't forget the celebrity that we have today in our studio.
Of course. And I think we need to not monopolize a conversation, because I'm very glad that we have been joined by someone whose fame has reached and I think has crossed the shores of Pakistan, because that is such a golden, I would say, the drama of PTV, because he performed a character who could not drive, but then he reached Bosnia there and he fought for his country, and certainly then we see that his character got the Shahadat, and then he also there were so many, I would say, I would call it the changes in that era and the transition that we have now. And if you see, those were the luxuries of that particular time, and now, I mean, this is common necessity, right? For example, driving, and then I mean, he did not have the money to pay the hotel bill, but yet we see that he's marrying that particular character.
And you know, that drama was one of those dramas which, even if you watch it today, you can A, relate to it, and B, you will enjoy it as you did when you watched it for the first time. Because I happen to have very fond memories, because I was not in Pakistan then, and we had to rent a VHS tape. We did not have a dish. And rented a VHS tape and we watched it in one go. I still remember it, and beautiful drama era it was of PTV and the whole media industry. So Hajra, why don't you take the opportunity to introduce our guest?
That's very true. We are very glad, and I think he has joined us, he has graced us with his presence. He happens to be Captain Gulsher Khan, and also known as Qasim Shah. Assalamu alaikum, sir, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Assalamu alaikum and wa alaikum salam for such high-sounding words. Like I'm literally overwhelmed by the wonderful introduction you gave, and then going towards the driving, then the hotel, where, by the way, I still don't have money for that.
That's wonderful.
Mostly I run out of it.
Okay. That's interesting, but I think we're also very glad that we have been joined by two wonderful ladies in our studio, and someone who was a driving force, and we've seen that how women have come forward, and now they are steering the country, and especially when we talk about in the power corridor, this is something that we are very proud of. She's a very vibrant lady. She's actively working for particularly her constituency, and not just a constituency, for Pakistan too. We are very glad that we have been joined by PMLN parliamentarian. She is not just a parliamentarian, she is also an educationist. She happens to be Miss Farah Naz Akbar. Assalamu alaikum, Miss Farah, and thank you so much for coming to our show.
Thank you so much for inviting me to this Eid show.
Eid Mubarak to you.
Eid Mubarak to everyone on the show and around Pakistan and abroad.
Jazakallah khair.
And yes, definitely. And thirdly, we have former Senior Vice President, Women Chamber of Commerce, Islamabad. She is none other than Miss Sadaf Zafar. Miss Sadaf Zafar, Eid Mubarak and welcome to PTV.
Thank you so much. Eid Mubarak to you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having you here.
Same.
And finally, we have a very cute addition to our program, and that is Mr. Azlan Javed. He is a student, and we thought of also including a student, a child, in our program to see their perspective of Eid in today's era, because obviously we talk about the elders, we talk about the mature people, but we never get to see how the children these days are celebrating their Eid from their perspective. We will get that from the horse's mouth. So Azlan, Assalamu alaikum and welcome.
Walaikum assalam and thank you for inviting me.
And Eid Mubarak.
Khair Mubarak.
Lovely. Lovely having you.
And I think now let's kickstart the conversation since it's Eid, and I have already stated in my introduction that usually for men it's a very hectic sort of a Eid because they have to go and buy. I mean, it's not limited to the men, of course, women can also do that, but mostly we see that, you know, men are engaged in those activities of the sacrificial animals,
Suddenly
buying them.
spoke about women, didn't
Yes, buying them and then, you know, coming back and obviously doing all of the qurbani, and then, you know, that then means
Irrespective of how hot it is, how humid it is, you have to go. You have to do the sacrifice,
course.
you have to look for the butcher, and then the pieces, and then the distribution. It's a never-ending thing.
That's very true.
Yes.
So, so Qasim Saab, let's start with you. So what's a, Eid ritual at your home? How do you celebrate it?
Is
By
it
the
as
way,
hectic as we just mentioned?
it is always hectic, but one thing is missing here. And then I was about to receive a phone call from the sheep. Why am I missing from it?
That's true.
At our place, we see sheeps everywhere, and especially on the Eid day. And taking an appointment from a butcher, literally taking an appointment from a very high-profile
Appointment,
doctor.
like I said.
Appointment from a very high-profile doctor. It is easy than getting an appointment. But by the time the Eid is over, they have had enough. They'll have enough about the number of appointments which these butchers have. I think they are in hundreds, and they before I come towards the butcher aspect, there are so many other professionals who comes into this. They wear their the dresses and they come outside. I am the butcher. Just test me, and then you end up with such a ugly experience. Bringing them
That
in.
happens. That happens, truly.
Yes.
So, do you go to your native town?
Yes. I was in my town once I received a phone call yesterday that come over. So I had to come to Islamabad for that.
Oh, thank you so much, and we are really glad that you have you took out the time for us and you came to our show. So, Ms. Farah, now let's come to you. And you are a political personality, and when you're a public personality, obviously you have a duty and obligation towards your own constituency. So, what is a typical day in your life when we talk about the Eid day, Badi Eid particularly?
Badi Eid particularly. Well, to start with, I remember my childhood days also. Basically, I was born in Karachi.
Okay.
So, the best part of my life is that over there I was the youngest in the family. I had a brother and a sister. So,
Right.
mostly everything was done by my father, and we used to really look forward to the sheep ritual, as you say. And in those days, I think these butchers and all, they were not such celebrities as they've become now.
Yes.
They are really celebrities now. But now, and fortunately, when I got married again, I was fortunate enough because I was living in a joint family.
Okay.
My husband was their only child.
Okay.
So all the things were done by my mother-in-law.
Okay,
So
that's
basically, I had they were very supportive also. I had ample time to do something which I really wanted to do for the country, for my own city, Islamabad. I've been living here since 34 years now.
Right.
So it was basically the support I got from my family. So Eid basically was really good during my childhood times, and now also, because she used to take care, but unfortunately she passed a year back. So both my sons are doctors and they're abroad. So yeah, so I really miss them on Eid, because this will be my first Eid without them. Last year I spent it in the US with them.
Okay.
So we are a very small family, but now my family is broadened by my people in Islamabad. I
Right.
visit them on Eid day, and
Right.
we get together and with friends and family. So it's a very wonderful time for me, Eid.
Lovely,
Right.
lovely. And now, Ms. Sadaf, coming to you, how is Eid for you? Is it a big festive occasion full of family, friends, a lot of domestic chores, or is it something that, okay, yeah, it's just chores?
No, I think Eid is not complete when you don't have celebrations. That's the name of Eid, you know, to
Right.
celebrate. So I think with me, Eid starts much earlier than most of the people because I have 3 kids. I have 2 girls, you know, mashallah. So, you know, we start buying the clothes and, you know, ordering stuff and shoes and chudiyan and mehndi and, you know, everything else. And in this Eid particularly, we're very, very fortunate that, you know, my husband takes me along to buy the sacrificial animal with him, you know.
Right.
Oh,
So I'm very,
lovely.
very interested in the kind of bull we are going to buy or the sheep we are going to buy, you know. So we go and we pick and choose and we see, we check out the teeth of the, count the, you know,
Yeah.
the typical
And
ritual,
there's
you know.
particular demarcation, you know, chokka.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah, donda and choka,
Yes,
you know, it has to be,
yes,
it
yes.
has to be a healthy bull, you
Yes,
know.
yes.
So yeah, we do that, and then, you know, apart from that, you know, I am very fond of cooking, you know. So one day ahead, I start preparing the samaiya and the kheer, and you know, we
Right.
have a major lunch at our place, you know. So I try to make different, you know, meals for that, you know, keeping in mind that there's going to be lots of meat there. So I keep 2 or 3 vegetable on the menu as well, so that, you know, everyone doesn't get sick of
Thankfully,
eating.
thank you very much. That has to be there.
Yes, because I think that there's too much meat, you know, then it's a meaty affair, you know.
Yes.
So you have to also encounter that in mind. We start from namaz, and then, you know, we go for the, you know, slaughtering of the animal. And like Shamsir Saab also said that, you know, they're seasonal butchers that day, you know. I remember once there was a guy who just came to us and he said, I am a counselor from my area, from Kokina. It's a village up in, you know, in the mountains of Islamabad.
Right.
But he said that, you know, today I'll be slaughtering animals as well, you know. So you find these kind of butchers and seasonal people walking around and saying that, you know, we'll come and slaughter the animals for you. So, I mean, that day you really don't have much of a choice. But
Right.
this time round, now I've learnt with trial and error that you book a butcher ahead, you know.
Ahead,
So we've
exactly.
done that now, totally.
So, Aslan, talking about you, I mean, you and your friends, do you go with your parents as far as buying of the animal is concerned? How excited are you? Do you buy the animal way before time so that you could, you know, play around with it and take it places and different streets and give it food and water? What do you do?
Basically, I just love to pray in the morning and go for the Eid prayers.
All right.
And then I feel sad when the animal gets slaughtered, but it's for Allah. So all
Right.
the sadness goes away. And on Eid, my grandmother cooks some delicious soya, and that makes all of it.
Oh, that's wonderful, and this is so sweet. I mean, I'm
Very
coming.
sweet,
I mean,
yes.
coming from a very young child, but the spirit that he's encapsulating the spirit of Qurbani, of Isar, of the Zed Zeal. That's wonderful to hear. So now let's come back to.
Hajra, have you ever gone and bought an animal?
No, because usually this duty is performed by my father, and I think the kind of inflation that is, I mean, we are surviving in that era. So we usually go for the second day because the prices are reasonably dropped on the second day of the Eid.
No, since you mentioned some of the terminologies, I thought maybe.
Yeah, because I've been doing Eid show, so I am well versed with their terminologies. But I do remember I was very young. I think I was in a 3 class, or I mean second class. So I once saw butchering of the animal, and that was very. I mean, heartbreaking.
Traumatizing.
Yes, traumatizing, and then I never saw it again. But then again, as the young child mentioned here, is that it's for the Allah, and then that inspires you that you have to go ahead because it is Allah who is commanding you to do that, right?
Exactly.
So Qasim Saab, let's come back to you. And you are a celebrity, I'm pretty sure, and wherever you go, I'm pretty sure there must be a lot of fan moments with you. So how similar are you, and what sort of similarities do you find yourself with your character in the Alpha Bravo Charlie? Do you think you are also like him in your real life?
Yes, it was me. It was totally me.
Okay.
That's what Shoaib Saab told me. But before I come towards that,
Right.
In our area, we seldom find a lady buying animals, and especially using the terms chokha, donda. It's a treat. It's a treat over there. Because I've been posted all over the country. We've been finding them in Lahore, in Multan, and wherever I was posted. So I used to find ladies buying, and it was literally a treat watching them selecting the animal. But in our place, we seldom find a ladies.
So now you know why I'm a women empowerment advocate.
Yes. And that is very important, because finally the meat comes to the lady then.
Of course.
The kitchen is under her command.
She has to cook now.
Yes, exactly. So your question was that the similarity of myself with my character. Yes, it was me. The kind of person shown there, like
Are you a shy person?
struggling. Yes, I was, but and I am right now, I think.
Okay.
I think.
Right.
So I was shy person, but then with the passage of time, it goes away. But as far as the character was concerned, like a struggling person who is to make his own way and struggle throughout his career, that was like a person I was doing that at that time.
So maybe that's why it was a huge hit, that there was such a huge similarity between you and your character.
All of us, like the kind of person Faraz was shown, he was the one. Then the type of a casual person, Abdullah or Kashif was shown, he was that. The type of a poor person, yes, I was that. I have been requesting Shoaib Sahab, kindly get me this Mercedes role. I am on a cycle right now. Show me your cycle. Get me a Mercedes for a role at least.
That's wonderful.
Well, that's the beauty of directors, isn't it?
Yes,
You had
yes,
to
yes.
make it a big hit, and
Yes.
So
Here we
can
are.
you relate to some of the fan moments? I mean, where you met fans, and I mean, it became a bit awkward for you because you told us that you are a shy person, but with the passage of time, introvertness goes away.
Yes.
I mean, back then when the show was on air, then, I mean, could you please
Yes,
share?
I was on Umrah doing tawaf, and suddenly a gentleman comes to me, excuse me, like this is a different moment, a different type of a feeling. You're around Kaaba
Yes.
and doing tawaf,
Yes.
and like I was close to the wall of Kaaba. He said, excuse me, just meet my wife and then go. He drives me from there. This was a sign that I have to expect, and you have to pay the price. And this
Was
is
your wife
wonderful.
with you at that time?
He was also introducing his
I'm pretty sure she made you do twice right after this incident.
Because I married after the play, that
Okay,
was
okay.
like
Bachelor.
yes, this was destined that
understood
she's
it.
going to get used to it
Right.
as soon as possible, and like she understand that.
Right.
But whenever some phone call comes in, even now, she understand who is there.
Yeah, women have a good.
Well,
Can't
lucky
hide your eyes
you.
from that.
Lucky you in that regard. Now, of course, Ma'am Farah, you have a very serious job, right? And in that seriousness, do you also find time for fun, even if not now? I'm talking about way back when your children were young. Did you have those fun moments with your children too? Because obviously, when we talk about someone who's in the high echelons of power, we think of them as just serious people. We don't think of them as, normal lay people who might want to have fun, who might want to go out, normal day-to-day activities with children. So how was it for you when your children were young?
You remind me of very beautiful memories with my children, because as I said, I was an educationist also, and I started my teaching job because my younger one was not adjusting in the school.
I see.
So with both my kids in school, I started my job as a teacher, and the fun time was this, that every day I used to give them these incentives. I used to teach them myself at home also. So I knew how to divide time, like for my teaching, for my children, from my home, and especially also for my husband, because he was the most neglected person in the house. Because still he complains that you have time for everyone, but for me you hardly have time. But I now, since my
Well,
kids
that
have
is the
got
complaint of
every
every
husband.
husband of a working woman. I can relate to
you
that.
can relate to that. So I try my best to give time, and naturally with this new designation that I've been given, I was in active politics, but now the dynamics have changed. So I think it's a very heavy duty on me also and for my family also, and I'm very glad that they've understood this, especially my both sons. And they are today also in the morning, I don't know, out of the blues, my younger one called me and said, "What's up, mom?" So I said, "I'm just going, you know, like it's Eid," and he called me for Eid Mubarak. So he said, "Just go ahead and have fun," you know. So it was a very treat to come here and to hear to my son's voice in the morning, early morning. Though I miss him a lot, but he said, "Inshallah, I'll be here in mid-September." So I'm looking forward to that, and I have to really place my timings very well. And the budget session is also coming in June, so it is going to be very hectic, and I pray that my husband understands that also. So,
but Ms. Farah, you've also spent your Eid abroad, particularly with your kids in America, and you've seen, I mean, you were born and raised up in Pakistan, so what are some of the two different cultural, I would say, transitions that you've seen in America and in Pakistan, and with the passage of time, how have you seen the things changing up? I mean, when we were young, when we were growing up, so I do remember we used to gather in a Dadi's house, but you know, with the passage of time, a lot of new members are added to your family, and some of them pass away. So it's a very different sort of a transition, bittersweet moments where you miss your elders. So how do you find that transition?
Very true. It is a bitter and sweet moment, as you said. You know, bitter like last year, my mother-in-law passed away. So like for the past 32 years I've been living with them, and I'm still in the joint family. Mashallah, my father-in-law is still alive, and I really look forward, like we spend about an hour or two in the evening, we make sure to be with him also. So that is something that is really missing, which we are going to miss this Eid also. And when I went to the US last year, and the Eid over there is quite different, because the Muslim community, you know, they're from different walks of life, like they're not just from Pakistan, you know, they're from different walks of life, and especially the doctors community, I had an interaction with them only, but mashallah, they were so good, like, you know, it's like a family affair, because their family is that, who are working with them, you know, they've made them as their family. But then, you know, when the mothers go, like I went, there were a few other doctors, their parents were there, so they were so excited that this is an Eid we are spending with our parents. So it was really enjoyable, and we really had a good time, and they all bring their own foods, and they celebrate it in a mosque.
In the mosque,
in the mosque, yes.
The mosque
it's in the
is
mosque.
like the community
center, yes,
the
Islamic center, yes. And you know, you different people from different walks of life, different cultures, they bring their food. I had to taste a lot of different foods also. It was a really treat to watch, you know, and mashallah, the ladies over there have become very good cooks, because they don't have the help that we have. As I said again, we are very privileged, like we have our staff, we have cooks and all that who help us in the kitchen over there. Like my own daughter-in-law, when she got married, and she's a doctor too, she told me, "Auntie, I'm sorry, but I don't know how to cook." So my son said, "Once we land in the US, you will know how to cook." And just a week back, it was their son's birthday, and I asked my son particularly, I said, "So how are we going to manage with the food?" He said, "Well, my wife is doing all the cooking." I was a little shocked, because she's also doing her residency, and he said she's made about 6 dishes, and I was really appreciating her, and she went on the net and all these, and over 2 years she's become a very good cook. So abroad,
that tells
this is
us
the best
that
thing.
nothing is impossible.
Yeah, that is, yes. I mean, her job is so hectic, and I've got a grandson, he's just turned 2, and you know, like they're all here. We have so many people to help. Like I had no issue whatsoever when my kids were growing, because in the joint family system, people say that it's not good, you should be, but I have really enjoyed my joint family system, because I've really got a lot of benefits from it on a lighter note.
And I think this is something that we take for granted a lot, right?
Yes,
and we do,
yes.
when we are deprived of this blessing, then we get to know that, you know, this is such a huge blessing, and especially when you're talking about the household help,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So one of my very dear auntie, when she came back from the US, she said the thing that I miss, I did not miss my parents, I did not miss my brothers and sisters, I just missed my cook a lot, and I want to just hug him, because you know, I'm so tired of washing all of those dishes and big bowls or dungas or whatever you call
On
them.
that, I would also like to put in a few words. My nieces came here, and we had a staff member, and my children used to call him Munshi.
Right.
And they used to call him, "Munshi, bring this, Munshi, bring this." So, you know, she was observing this. She was very young. She'd come from the US. So when she went back home, and she told her mother that, you know, we have to do the dishwashing, this, that, you know, cleaning of the house and all that. So, "Mama, can't we have a Munshi here?" You know? All that she wanted was the Munshi from Pakistan. No clothes, no food, nothing. She only wanted the munchi.
That's
so yes, it's very difficult over
That's
there.
true.
It's
That's
very
true. And I think
difficult,
that in living in
Yes.
Pakistan, this is something that we
yes,
need to
yes.
appreciate a lot
Appreciate,
and be
yes.
thankful and be full of gratitude because this is
Because
a
people
huge blessing.
usually talk negatively all the time. People say we don't have this, we don't have that. But Sadaf Sahiba, now talking about all this, how do you think things have changed? If you talk about your childhood, if you talk about how you used to spend your Eid versus now, do you think it has, I mean, a lot of change has come over there, or do you think it's almost the very same?
I grew up in a joint family. I got married in a joint family. So I've been very blessed, you know. I think that when you're living in a joint family, like Farah just said, it's a blessing throughout, you know. I was so happy as a child. We used to celebrate Eid the same way, and I'm so glad to see my kids grow up in the same manner.
Lovely.
You know, we celebrate Eid together. My Dadi Saas used to live next door as well, you know, and we used to have so much fun with them. First, because I'm married in Murray, my in-laws are from Murray, so we used to go to Murray on every Eid, you know, and you know the only thing I do, the different thing that I do now is that when I was younger, when they used to slaughter the animals, I used to say it stinks a lot and I can't be around this much gosht, you know. But the day I got married, I was the only one because my entire in-laws, they, like most of them had gone for Hajj that particular year. And I was alone, and I was also expecting my first child, and I had nausea, and I was taking care of all the meat. And I said, okay, Allah ji, I'm sorry for all the years I tortured my mom, you know, that, you know, I don't want to smell this meat, you know. But Alhamdulillah, it's been an amazing journey. And, you know, those times were beautiful. And these times are beautiful. Those times were with my parents, with my dadi, with my chachas, with my chachiyan around, with my cousins around. Now it's my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my children, mashallah, my son is 24, and my, you know, both my daughters. So I think, alhamdulillah, you have to be grateful in every aspect of your life. Gratitude is the key, you know, and I think Allah ka bahut shukr that I've been blessed, you know. When I was small also, and now also, you know. So I cannot complain.
I think,
You
alhamdulillah.
are a blessed person.
Alhamdulillah for that. And I
Alhamdulillah.
think we have lots of blessings. We have lots of things that we are not that grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is a moment that I think we all need to revise and reshape our thinking and be grateful to Allah. So Qasim Saab, now because you've associated from the military background and they're posted in different areas, and because of the job, I mean, I'm pretty sure that you've seen a lot of Pakistan, right? So how was usually the Eid when were you posted on the stations? Because I also come from the military background, so I'm pretty sure that we have very different memories, very different experiences in every station that you're posted on.
As a bachelor, they used to be so boring. You are at a different station, the family is away, and what all you can do is just make a phone call, talk to them, and that was all. And they would say, "Boss, shore ho raha hai, just call later," because everybody used to be together.
They used to have PESCOMs
Yes,
and
yes.
green.
By the time you grow older, and after marriage, then at least you have somebody to celebrate with. And but coming to the home station, so there's a huge get together at my house, alhamdulillah. But the previous question there, you miss the old times where you were surrounded and surrounding your parents as siblings and as kids around your parents. That used to be a wonderful time. But even now, this is a wonderful time. At least my siblings, our kids, they're around, they're enjoying the way we used to enjoy. What all we are required to do is to make it a big celebration for them. That's all we do.
Right, and I think that's very interesting for him because a few days ago I was watching Alpha Bravo Charlie with my brother, and he was sitting with me and he was also commenting constantly, you know, happens like that, and this is very close to reality, and this is exactly what is going on. And there was one particular scene that is so I mean, the entire drama was amazing and it's very timeless, and if you watch it today, I mean, you can relate with that, but that caught my attention, and that was particularly that how in order to, because you know, that captain got posted in the Siachen and does not want to go there, and so he want to entice the senior's wife by, having this conversation with the shopkeeper that, I will give you money, but just give her a massive discount. And she's so happy that, she tries to put some good words, but they're not successful in this regard. But just look at the concept of the saving, right? We grew up in a household where our mothers, where our grandmothers, they used to save a lot of money, right? And if I see my generation, if I see the transition in this particular era, so we are focused a lot on buying things, right? If there is a sale, we would rush to the mall.
Consumerism, yeah. If there is a sale, you have to go. It's
Yes.
a compulsion that you have to go. And like you were talking about different eras, because back in those times, we used to spend time with people. Now children usually spend time with their phones and gadgets. So I would like to come to you, Aslan, that on Eid day, do you also spend most of your time on the phone, or do you also go out with friends?
No, I usually stay with my family because my friends are with their families, and I just like to enjoy with my cousins and my mother, my brother. It's just really
Because
fun.
now there is a concept of online gaming
Yes.
as well. So do you do that too?
Not really much.
Really?
What are your hobbies? What do you do?
I like to read, play
That's interesting.
football, and watch TV.
Do you sing?
A little bit.
You do?
A little.
Could you sing something for us?
What?
Anything that you like.
दिल का जुनू जो रगों से बहा है, दिल आजमाया तो डरना लगा है, दिल का जुनू जो रगों से बहा है, दिल आजमाया तो डरना लगा है, नहीं खौफ कोई भी दुश्मन का हमको, नहीं मिलने देंगे यूं धरती से गम को, नहीं मिलने देंगे यूं धरती से गम को। हर एक पाकिस्तानी ने पुकारा पाकिस्तान, अमन का निशान है हमारा पाकिस्तान। हर एक पाकिस्तानी ने पुकारा पाकिस्तान, अमन का निशान है हमारा पाकिस्तान।
Lovely, 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 lovely. Amn ka nishan hai, there's no doubt about that. Pakistan is an abode of peace, and we wish the best for Pakistan. Now, by the way, we would like to play a little game with all of you. So, are you ready?
Yes.
All right.
I have to be.
You don't have an option.
Do you have another option?
No.
I don't have.
Not really. Yeah. So, it's called this or that, right? So, I'm going to give you two options. You have to choose without thinking.
Okay, fine.
All right. So here we go. Playlists or podcasts?
Okay, the first one.
Playlists.
Okay, fine.
Wonderful. Shoes or slippers?
Okay, fine. Shoes.
Shoes. All right. Chicken or beef?
Beef.
Lovely. I would choose the same, by the way. Swimming pool or beach?
Beach.
Fruits or vegetables?
Fruits.
Cats or dogs?
Cat and dog.
Sorry?
Yes, the second one.
The second one. The second one. All right. Summers or winters?
Winters.
New phone or new clothes?
Can I say
Without
both?
thinking,
Can I say
I
both?
said.
Can I say both?
Right.
Clothes.
All right, all right. Well, I would go with the new phone. Comedy or horror?
Comedy.
Not horror.
We have a lot of horror everywhere around
We
us.
already have a lot of horror.
We have enough of it.
Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
Lovely. But there were some questions where you had to think about,
Yes.
but that was the whole point. You don't have to think. Whatever comes to your mind, direct. But yes, I loved your answers because many of your answers, they sort of reflected my own thinking, my own
Like
personality.
I took time to sink in with your frequency.
You were very quick.
Yes,
Well, that's how it has to be. Very quick.
Rapid fire.
Yeah.
Rapid fire.
Yeah.
I think we need to start another game because games add a very interesting element to each show. So the way the rules of these games are that number one, you do not have to lie. Okay, be very honest about your answers, and if there's a story at the background of it, we're also interested in exploring that, right? So this is a yes and no game, and we're going to ask you a question and you have to answer that, right? So Fahim, why don't you start with the first question?
Yes, I will. All right, so the first is, never have I ever traveled solo.
I have.
So many times.
Okay.
Lovely. I like this lot.
Right, right. So where did you travel solo? I think you're in the military, so I'm pretty sure you've
Yes,
been posted.
everywhere, but abroad mostly.
Right, right.
In Pakistan, yes, everywhere.
Yes.
90% of my time I've been traveling alone,
Yes.
solo.
Yes, Ms. Farah?
To the US when my
Right.
son was doing his residency, the elder one.
That's interesting.
Yes, to Dubai when I was coming back from England when I was dropping my daughter. She's in her university, so I was there alone.
So you traveled
I
solo, yeah?
have, yes. What
Yes.
did I say?
Okay.
And
Okay.
Vitaji, you?
No.
You have
The
not.
answer which
I
I'm
travel
waiting.
with my family.
Yeah, his answer. No, he has not
Goodbye.
traveled solo. Wonderful. That was the first question. Now, moving on to the second question. Never have I ever Googled myself.
I did.
I have. You have. You. Okay, so we all have. Lovely.
And I think we need to also ask, what sort of results were yielded for him. Were you satisfied with that?
Actually, I got results from some of the websites which I was not expecting. Usually one expects the Facebook or this or that, but there were some other websites and I'm really?
That's interesting. What about you, Qasim Saab?
My pictures from the Facebook, my pictures from the TV,
Yeah.
like
Alpha Bravo Charlie.
certain screenshots. That was it. A number of it was like streaming on
Yes.
the net. So many.
Yes. And what about you, Ms. Farah?
It's a little funny and strange also. I never did it before, but when I became member of the parliament, my husband came rushing to me and he said, have you Googled yourself? You're now.
That's
So
so
that was,
sweet.
yes. So I had to Google myself and just check out what was given on it,
So-
the information.
So what did you find?
It was quite correct.
Okay, that's interesting.
interesting.
When I Googled myself, it was quite ego boosting,
Yes, it is always very
And by the
validating.
way, I had not known that I was published in the US State Department page. So that is the
interesting.
day when I found out that I was published there. So then I went and, read all the comments they were under my name, So that was quite ego boosting.
Ego massage.
Yeah, big time.
Validating. And what did you find, Aslan?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay, I think you're
Oh,
too
you
young
will
now.
find it
Now-
when
Now
you
we become a
make
celebrity.
your Facebook account and get more active on the internet. But it's good that you did not find anything. So
Now
bravo.
that he's on PTV, I think you should
Yes.
Google yourself again.
Yes,
Okay, I found
yes.
something
Few days.
interesting as well.
Right.
There were few interviews which I never gave.
Okay.
Really?
My interviews.
That's misinformation floating, yeah.
Right. All right. Moving on to the next question. That would be, never have I, it's a funny one, all right? Never have I ever laughed so hard that all the drink and spit came out of my mouth and nose.
Please repeat this question.
Never have I ever laughed so hard that all the spit in the
Dun, dun,
drink
dun.
came out of my nose and mouth.
Almost.
So we all agree there?
Yes,
Yes, the,
Good consensus?
we've all had those moments.
Hajra, can you share your...
yeah, I mean, when I was young, I do remember there was some sort of a joke. I can't remember that joke exactly, but my cousin was telling us, and it was so funny that I'm drinking the water at the same time and I was spitted. I can't remember the joke, but it was very funny. I do remember that.
Well, it happened to you in childhood. It still happens to me
Yeah, I
today.
was going to say the same exact thing.
Yes,
It
do
happens to me all the time.
So do you remember Shahnaz coming out in burqa for the first time?
Yes, yes.
I did that. That happened.
Oh, that was a spontaneous reaction.
Lovely, lovely.
That's interesting.
And you, ma'am?
I with my siblings, when we used to be up to something and the result used to be according to I used to laugh the most and it had
Yeah,
a good time.
that's interesting.
And you, Vitaji?
When my brother made me laugh so hard and I spat all over him.
All over him, that's so cute.
That was much
And
more
sibling fun
Fun
is the
is
best
best,
kind of fun
yeah.
that you can have, actually. Now, moving on. Never have I pretended to be on the phone.
Yeah, all the time I do that.
We all agree there?
Yeah.
So do you have a
Hajra, when have you done it?
Yeah, I mean, lots of time. I just want to escape the environment. I just don't want to talk to someone that I don't like. So I pretend that I am on the phone sometimes. And I think, yes, when I used to go on the Uber and Careem, so I used to pretend that I am on the call and I'm
All right,
telling
Uber
my
is fine, but
Yes.
next time you're on the phone in the office, I'm gonna be careful.
What about you?
Well, I kind of have
Yeah,
many
of
times.
course, we all have, yes, yes. And if someone says the otherwise, I think, we need to investigate further. So what was the story behind it?
Well, it's not like the first time that I've done it. I've done it many times. For example, when somebody, hung up on me and I didn't want to sound, okay, maybe the other person hung up on me and I was in people. So I keep on talking, all right, fine, all right, take care, bye-bye. And they've already hung up on me.
Right.
So yeah, that's happened quite a lot of times.
Right. And what about you, Qasim sir?
The boy with the bill comes in after in the restaurant by the month end, and you pretend to be on phone and run away. Let others pay the bill.
Lovely. That's lovely.
What about you, Ms. Farah?
Once when I was traveling back from Lahore, I think we lost track and I got a little paranoid. I said, it was late night.
Yes.
So I just pretended talking to my sister-in-law in England.
Right.
And it was like a 1 hour talk
Yes.
because I just wanted my driver, to know that I'm still on phone with somebody.
Yes.
And I was
That's
telling,
a long
yes,
pretend conversation.
yes, I had to
Yeah,
because
that's
it
a
was late
safety
night.
defense mechanism.
Safety defense, yes.
We do that on the Uber and
Yes, yes.
Careem
Yes,
all
yes.
the
That
time.
was the only thing that
Yes.
came to my mind
Yes.
because the time like difference
Yes.
between the US, I usually do it with my kids,
Right.
but it was like they must be sleeping. So the only option was my sister-in-law. So I started talking to her because I said if I call my husband, he'll get upset that how
Right.
could you miss the road and
Yeah.
like. So I did that.
Daan
once.
khane se
Yes.
behtar hai.
Yeah, daan khane se behtar ठीक ठाक खाना
जी,
लगनी
जी.
थी.
Okay, what about you, Ms. Sadaf?
I have my card attached in my Food Panda. So my kids are ordering all the time on my phone. The moment they come in, Amma, and I'm like, beta, I'm on the call. 2-3 minute baad aana. And they come back again, and I'm like, I'm still on the call. So I try to have those delay tactics. So
that's
that they
Lovely.
don't order Food Panda from my phone.
Lovely, lovely. And what about you, beta?
When it was time for me to study, I pretended that I was on a call with my father. That
With my father. Lovely.
And
Then what did your mom say?
She did not believe it.
She did not believe it. Although
they-
it's a good one.
yeah, they have a very interesting sort of what do you call it? A truth detector inside their bodies, and they can always identify what
Actually,
their kids are saying.
I would say all women have a very, very good sixth sense. That's what I've come to the conclusion that this is true. Whatever we say, this is true. But anyway, this,
I think we also need to take the Eid message from all of our
Yes,
celebrity and-
yeah.
yes. So why don't we go ahead and start with the Qasim Saab. So Qasim Saab, any message that you would like to say? This is your camera. Please go ahead.
Enjoy your Eid with everybody around. Don't let anybody spared at this moment. Laugh, enjoy, eat, and celebrate. Enjoy to your maximum.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
what
you.
we will definitely, and all the people who are watching us, those too. So yes, Ma'am Farah.
I will continue with the same message. It is like it comes once a year, so we should forget our sorrows, grief, and forget about our egos and really celebrate it with our loved ones and enjoy it maximum, because we have this habit of living in the past and thinking about the future, but we should live in the present, and the present is its Eid ul Adha, and we should celebrate Eid ul Adha with our loved ones, dear ones, family and friends.
Definitely. Thank you. And finally, Sadaf.
I think it's a time of celebrations. We must celebrate, but while we are celebrating, especially this year round, do not forget the children of Palestine, the children of Kashmir, and let's make dua for them and try to send our Qurbani meat to those places, those
Underprivileged
countries,
areas.
and also sharing is caring. So don't forget to share your happiness and your celebrations and also your meat with the underprivileged.
Absolutely. And Beta ji, one message for all your friends out there who are watching you.
Just enjoy.
Just enjoy. Lovely.
And I think it's also
Jame message.
and I think that's a lovely message because it's also summer vacations going on, right? So they are pretty much enjoying and having fun with the swimming pools and whatnot, and also with the summer homework too, right? And I remember when I was growing up, so I hated that part of the school. And,
I hated that part too, but nowadays children do not get homework, Hajra. It's a very difficult time for the parents, believe you me. But yes, all the best to all the parents who are there, and thank you all of you
Thank
for
you so
coming
much.
here. Qasim Saab, Mem
Thank you so
Farah,
much for
Sadaf Saiba, thank you very much. Beta ji, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you so
here
much.
and being a part of our program, taking out time, contributing your thoughts on Eid al-Adha. So Eid Mubarak to all of you once again.
Eid Mubarak
Eid
to
Thank you
all.
so much.
Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
Thank
Eid
you.
Mubarak.
And with that, we are going on a short break, and after we come back, we have an interesting discussion lined up. Don't go anywhere. Eid Mubarak
Eid
once
Mubarak.
again. Welcome back, and Eid Mubarak once again to everyone who is celebrating out there. So we have lined up some interesting guests, and we have some interesting games to play up and some interesting discussions regarding Eid, regarding fun, regarding entertainment. It's a celebratory event. It's a festivity that we all need to enjoy. So without any further ado, Fahim, why don't you take the opportunity to introduce our guests?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I take special and keen interest whenever it comes to music and musicians.
True.
And today we have two musicians in our studios, and I am very excited to tell you honestly. So first we have Junaid Yunus with us. Junaid is a singer. He has many accolades in his name. Junaid, welcome to PTV World Eid Show, and Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak to you guys too, and thanks for having me.
It's a
Right.
pleasure. It's a pleasure.
And I think when we talk about Eid, so we cannot miss the fact that we need to have some meetha, right? Although it's a
course.
bari Eid, but in Pakistani households, our Eid festivities is incomplete with
It does not matter if it's Badi Eid or Choti Eid, meetha has to be there.
Right, and Fahim got this compliment because Fahim was on a very strict diet, and someone told him that he has lost a lot of weight. So he has his eyes on something very meetha, which is in our studio, and you can also see that we have donuts lined up here, and as someone who has created this beautiful donut. So if our producer can take us this opportunity and show that what a colorful donuts we have here. So without any further ado, we have someone in the studio who shares the name that my parents granted it to me. She is Miss Hajra Alamgir. She happens to be a businesswoman, and she's also the owner of the Dough with the Flow. Assalamu alaikum, Hajra. Eid Mubarak to you.
Eid Mubarak. Thank you very much for having me. I also agree, no Eid or any celebratory event goes complete without something sweet on the table.
Exactly.
that's
It has
it.
to be there. I'm
That's
sorry. And our third guest again is from the music fraternity. He is none other than Adil Latif. Adil, Assalamu alaikum, Eid Mubarak, and welcome to PTV World.
Walaikum assalam, Eid Mubarak to you and all the viewers, and thank you so much for having me.
Right, so Adil, why don't you take this opportunity and make this Eid even more delightful by singing us some song and make our festivity even more brighter, right?
Yeah, sure, why not? Let's sing something from. Whoa, 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 whoa. देखा ना था कभी हमने ये समा ऐसा नशा तेरे प्यार ने दिया सोचा ना था खो गए सपनों में हम देखा ना था कभी हमने ये समा ऐसा नशा तेरे प्यार ने दिया सोचा ना था खो गए सपनों में हम वो वो में अब जो कहे, राहों की बाहों को छोड़ छोड़ चले, जब से मिला हमें प्यार तेरा, तेरा हंसी लगे बार बार तेरा, यूं तुझे दिल में बसाएंगे, करना पड़े ना इंतजार यार तेरा, दिखाना था कभी हमने ये समा ऐसा नशा, तेरे प्यार ने दिया सोचा न था, खो गए सपनों में हम, वो 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 वो
Lovely, 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 lovely. And
Did he pass the test for him? Of his vocal cords and whatever.
Oh, don't embarrass me, Hajra. Don't embarrass me. But yes, it brought back a lot of memories because this happens to be a song from the childhood and one of the favorites back then and still favorite, and can never go out of the list of the favorites, right?
Absolutely.
That's very true. And I think Alamgir is still a legendary figure that once again PTV introduced, and we feel very proud that we are sharing the same screen that these legends shares. I mean, years or decades ago. But now let's come back and ask our worthy guests that what is their Eid ritual usually, because there's some things that remain common throughout the eras, throughout the decades, but there are things that change because there's some new members that are added to the family and some of them are some pass away. Not in every household, but usually it's like that. So it's a very bittersweet sort of a moment. You remember
That's
your
a life
loved one.
cycle.
Yes,
I mean, whether we like it or not, yes.
Yes. So why not we start with the Miss Junaid. So Mr. Junaid, so what is your Eid ritual, a typical Eid ritual of Bari Eid? Because for men, usually they are busy with, buying the sacrificial animals and then looking out for the
But it's
butcher.
been done, a few days before, I guess. You don't buy animals on the Eid day. If you do, you probably get a better price, but it's too much panic.
Some people do actually.
It creates a lot of panic. I think it should be done a couple of days before,
Beforehand,
yes. So that you at least can enjoy the animal. Your kids, if you have kids, they generally enjoy the presence of the animal. They play around with it, and sometimes you create affiliations with the animal, and it becomes a little harder.
Actually, that's the whole idea.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
Yes.
That was I was getting at.
Yeah.
That you get close to the animal, and then because the whole story behind it is that you sacrifice the most dear thing to you. So
because that happened last time on the last Eid, because my children, they were so used to the animal being in the house. They were so sad, and I was like, beta ji, Allah ke paas chala gaya, Allah ji ne bula liya hai, relax kare, it's okay, relax. So that's what happened.
And with that, and plus, a lot of things nowadays, like, in the modern world, people are going like, I don't want to see blood and all that stuff. It's just part of the life, right? We're all created of muscle, blood, and all these things. So it makes you aware of our physiology as well.
Yes.
And plus, people are going like I don't have nothing against vegan or vegetarians. So it's more because you need to know where your food is coming from. So it gives you that awareness of where you're getting your. It does not come from a factory. It's a living animal,
yes,
which you eat. So that gives you that awareness too. So I think it helps all of us in a broader term, rather than being just only focusing on that incident we've talked about in our religion. Yes,
true. That's true.
Right. So Junaid, why don't you go ahead? So you're also a singer, so delight our ears with a very wonderful song that suits the Eid festivity.
Well, I have a slightly famous song called Police.
All right.
So I would like to sing that for your viewers.
So let's
Adil will accompany me on the guitar.
Sure.
Yeah. हो पुलिस च भर्ती हो गया मैं पुलिस च भर्ती हो गया पुलिस च भर्ती हो गया मैं पुलिस च भर्ती हो गया हो बहु जमाता पास सा मैं बहु जमाता पास सा मैं सिद्धा ही अफसर हो गया मैं पुलिस च भर्ती हो गया मैं पुलिस च भर्ती हो गया पुलिस च भर्ती हो गया मैं पुलिस च भर्ती हो गया ਓਏ ਮਾਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਪੁੱਤ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਅਫਸਰ ਭਰਤੀ ਕਰਾਇਆ ਏ ਬੁੱਢੀ ਦੇਂਦੀ ਤਾਨੇ ਮਾਪੇ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਜ਼ਾਇਆ ਏ ਮਾਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਪੁੱਤ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਅਫਸਰ ਭਰਤੀ ਕਰਾਇਆ ਏ ਬੁੱਢੀ ਦੇਂਦੀ ਤਾਨੇ ਮਾਪੇ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਜ਼ਾਇਆ ਹੁਣ ਰੌਲਾ ਰੂਲਾ ਨਾ ਪਾਵੀ ਰੌਲਾ ਰੂਲਾ ਨਾ ਪਾਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਜੋ ਹੋਣਾ ਸੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਮੈਂ
Lovely.
ਪੁਲਿਸ ਚ ਭਰਤੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਚ ਭਰਤੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਚ ਭਰਤੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਮੈਂ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਚ ਭਰਤੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ
Oh,
Very
this was really nice.
Thank you.
Zabardast is the word. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think that the lyrics were very relevant and they were very attention grabbing. And whoever have written that, I think that person has written
I myself composed and written it.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. So,
Nice.
so you are the brain behind that. That's wonderful. So now coming to Hajra. So Hajra, I'm pretty sure on Eid, your bakery must be really, good because people love sweet, right? And how's, your work going on, especially on the Eid? So are you also going and visiting and overlooking your business? So what's the Eid ritual for you?
First of all, I have always strongly believed, and the men in my life, as I told you earlier, I'm a mom of 3 boys. My brother, my husband have always told me, the women have so much capability and capacity in them that we undermine our own selves and we don't utilize it. So yes, Chand Raat and Eid day is very busy. I'm a franchise partner with Usman Siddiqui, who actually has made this and his product and his ingredients and everything, but I overlook the management and all the other things over there with the staff and everything. We have a lot of selling going on for Eid because people want to decorate their tables,
Of course,
and on Eid day we have a lot of selling going on because people want to take something meetha to everyone's house.
Yeah.
And now I think mithai is not that preferred by the children of today.
Yes.
The Gen Z wants to have donuts
or
and cakes
cake.
and croissants and something like that. We have a very supportive staff who manages it. We overlook, since Eid is basically all about family.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And in my house, when the men come back from the namaz, the first thing they want to eat is the sheer khorma made by me or my mother-in-law. And I belong from a family where all the men are very big foodies,
Right.
So they want the table set up and everything. So most of the time goes in the kitchen or with the guests.
Right.
This is how we've been brought up. This is how our mothers did. This is what we are trying to do. However, I completely agree with what you said, that it is a bittersweet moment. At the same time, we take out some time to go to the graveyard, pray for the loved ones that we've lost, and we miss them on these special occasions. Obviously, calling those people and now they're not available. Some people have lost their parents. I've lost my parents. So I miss them a great deal on these events. However, my kids growing up add a little extra sweetness and happiness for me.
Right.
So-
I'm pretty sure that must be, a lot of one hell of a task. Bringing up the 3 boys together, because usually they're very naughty. But Hajra, as a woman and especially someone who's also overlooking the kitchen, and you have a family where there are lots of foodies present. So, do you put an effort in setting out your dining table, especially for the Eid? Because usually Eid is the time where lots of family members are gathering, they're greeting and meeting each other. And obviously food is the one thing that in Pakistani household we usually look forward to it, because we are very hospitable nation, right? So, do you put an effort in setting out your Eid
I
tables?
put in a lot of effort. As I told you, I have foodies all around me.
Okay.
There is always a special breakfast. There is a special sheer korma which is made specifically on Eid, and the cooking starts at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Oh.
And then my kids always have a homemade halwa puri, which I make for themselves. Kyunki no matter
Nice.
how modern you become, you are a businesswoman or whoever you are, jo maa ke haath ka khana hai na, every child cherishes it. I can never replace the taste of my mother-in-law's hand from my husband. and the same goes for my kids. They want some specific things made by the mommy. So usually my table is set up with the halwa puri in the breakfast, and then the biryani and everything in the afternoon. So they have their own menu set up, and obviously we have a lot of guests coming in and out of the house.
Right.
So an empty table, no, it's a big no for Eid, I think.
You know, I find that really interesting because there's so many households these days where you see people when they go out for prayers, they come back, they go to sleep.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh, yes.
I mean, it does happen that way in many households.
And on Eid al-Adha, you can't be that. You know, you need to have sacrifice the animal as well. So you
But
cannot
people
sleep.
are like, you know, maybe the
You
butchers
know,
are going to
what
be
I
available
feel
in the
is
evening.
nowadays, what you were saying about the blood and everything,
Yeah.
nowadays a trend is coming in where people actually pay someone else
Someone
to do
else to
everything.
do it over there, and
this
you
is
just bring
happening.
in the meat. That should not happen.
However, I feel it is crucial to keep all our basics and our childhood memories and, you know, the culture alive.
Yeah.
And I think it's our responsibility to do so. First of all, I'm very disappointed to see when they're not even Eid prayers in some houses.
Oh, yes.
So
They
these
skip
are,
it or miss it, yeah,
this is
because
the
it's
culture that
sleeping.
we need to pass on our children. You know, we need to teach them that this is what Eid is all about. You know, you start in the morning with prayers, you meet everyone, you wear a shalwar kameez, you eat together, you cherish things together, you miss the loved one together. It's all about togetherness.
Yeah.
Yes, togetherness.
Together.
This brings in the culture, this brings in our religion, this brings in the love that we cherish. So I think Eid needs to be very, very family centric.
Yeah.
And it has to, you know, you have to keep everyone together. And these are those events which are much more important for me than Mother's Day or Father's Day.
Yeah,
You might be very
Well,
disappointed.
those are not our, you know,
You
days
might be very
anyways.
disappointed, but my kids are not allowed to celebrate a Mother's Day because I feel Mother's Day needs to be 365 days, same as
I
the
was gonna
Father's
say,
Day.
yeah.
And Eid is should be occasion where we meet all our relatives, and you know, we get together and we wear, you know, all this bling bling clothes and we celebrate it. Unfortunately, I don't have a daughter, so I miss the mehndi and the chand raat and the chudiyaan.
And I think
Sons are not that bad either.
that's true, but I think in order to enjoy the festivity of the Eid, especially early in this morning on our studio, so why not we play a game, right? So this game is never have ever, right? And you have these yes and no play cards with you. So I'll ask a question and you have to be very, very honest with that, right?
Yeah, you
And-
can't lie.
Yes. And we have a special
And
lie
who would tell
detector.
we are lying or not?
Oh, your face shows it all,
Your
right?
conscience would tell you.
Yes, yes. Your,
Sure,
your eyes will show it a lot, and then you have to answer. And there's a story in the background. Then we will also probe into that. So the first question is that never have I ever stayed up all night. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think there's a story, you know, because you said no and then you flipped around. So what is the
Yeah,
story?
were you trying to lie?
Yeah. you
No,
did,
no, no, no.
you
I
did.
was confused. Should I say, like, you know, never have I ever, you know, stayed all night. Yes, I have stayed up all night.
Yeah,
sure,
and
sure.
can we ask the reason behind it?
You know, back in the days when
Are
we
you a
were young,
night owl or are you a morning person?
I can adapt. I can adapt. It depends, you know, what my, you know, coming
Company is
day-
like, yeah.
company is like, and you know what my schedule is going to be
But
tomorrow.
generally, what are you? Are you a night?
Artists are always night owls. Yeah, because you need
The most
isolation.
creative ideas
Yes,
come at
in the
night.
midnight.
Yeah.
So we,
That's
after when everything
True.
is silent,
Very true.
so you create then. You don't create when, you know, it's a day, everything is
There's lots of
happening.
hustle
you know,
and bustle going
even
on.
birds
True.
are chirping, so you
Lot
cannot
of
create in that.
distractions.
No.
Okay, Hajra, what about you?
Well, I said no as a mom.
But not as a
No, no,
child.
no. Before, when you were not a mom.
Yes,
As a
I'm
mom, you have to
still a night owl, I believe, because once everyone's gone to sleep, I need to have my own happy hour where I do nothing.
The me
and just-
time.
Me
Yeah, the
time,
me
yeah.
time. So I'm a night owl, and I sleep late every night, and I regret every morning. Every
I
morning.
should
think
have
when you
slept more.
also become a mother, so there are lots of countless sleepless nights because your
Oh
baby
yes,
requires
yes.
your attention.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of challenges more than you can imagine being a mom. But in the end of the day, the smile of your child, everything's completely worth it.
That's true. That's
Completely worth it.
Adil, what about you?
Amazing.
I think it's same as Junaid bhai said, like I am also a night owl, and due to multiple reasons, artistic people, like they usually stay awake at night and they think about a lot of things. They think about the things happening during the day and what's gonna happen next. There are so many things going on. So yeah, I am a night owl person, and I can adapt according to my schedule.
Circumstances and situations.
If I have to be somewhere in the morning, I'll get up early. And
I think as a human, it's a very primordial instinct that, you know, our biological clock is very aligned to nature, right? So usually nights are created for sleeping,
yes,
days are created.
that's what
for
my
the
mother
You're
used to
not a
say.
night owl.
No, I'm not.
That's
I'm
what-
a morning
That's why
person.
she's taking that path.
But no,
As a
I-
human nature, we have in our DNA.
Yes, that's actually what my mother says to me. That she says that like if night is made for sleeping,
Yeah.
and yes, the birds are going to their nests in the evening, and
We're
they
not
sleep, and
birds.
yes, so like everything she tells me, she gave me examples of everything. So so that I adjust myself according to that, like nature and everything. But I'm still like I am.
But trust me, the moment you become a dad, you will be giving the same lecture. I do it every single day. Even though I am a night owl myself, I've been up all night. But you know, when it comes to your own child, you're more focused on them being perfect. You know, them being more healthier than you are.
Yes.
That's
That's
very true. And
correct.
Fahim, you?
I tend to wake up at night, yes.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. Yes, yes. Okay.
All right.
So never have I ever ghosted someone. That's interesting.
Probably no.
No. Okay.
No. Really? None of you?
No, we're
Thanks God we're not mean people.
Yeah, exactly. You know, why would I ghost anyone? Like, you know, let them take their thunder. You know, why would you take it away? Yeah.
Lovely,
right? Yeah.
lovely.
I believe in communication and talking. I think that's very important rather than ghosting someone. It's very
Right.
Actually,
painful.
that's the difficult step which people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Conversations.
avoid confrontations.
Yeah.
People who avoid confrontations ghost people, and I think it's very unfair.
Yeah, true that.
Okay. Never have I ever slipped into someone's DM.
You didn't ask Adil about that, you know.
Because he said no.
He said no, but you asked him why. That the question she asked before.
No.
The ghosted. Have you ever ghosted someone?
No, I don't.
You don't. Okay.
I think you have done that.
How is that?
Because you were, I mean, pointing at him, and I do believe that you are getting some sort of vibe. You see, this smile tells that there is a story behind it.
No, I don't ghost anyone. No, not at all. As she said, you know, the conversation is the thing. Like, you need to ask if if you're offended by something, ask them. You know, otherwise there is no reason to be.
That's a
you know,
good-
Rather than
ghost
keeping
anyone.
a
It's a
grudge.
good cover-up story. I think there's something behind it, right? Okay. Okay, quickly. So never have I ever slept into someone's DM, very quickly because we are really short in time. So no, I don't think so.
Nope.
No.
Respecting privacy is very, very important.
Very important.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I think with that, we will wrap up this particular segment, and we will say Eid Mubarak once again to everyone out there, particularly who is celebrating. And Fahim, would you like to add some words to complete
I
the message?
would definitely. First of all, thank you, all of you, for coming in here, for taking out time, for, being a part of our program. And viewers, just before I wind up the program, don't forget all the Muslims in the world who are not in the position to celebrate Eid. Keep them in your prayers. Keep them in your hearts, keep them in your minds, because they are our brothers and sisters. Don't forget them, be it the people in Kashmir, be it the people in Palestine, or any oppressed area for that matter. Anyway, Eid Mubarak to all of you. I love you all, and enjoy yourself to the maximum. Look after yourselves,
Eid
and
Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.